Good afternoon, y'all, and welcome back. So today we have two special guests. One, we have Phil.
Hello.
And two is next to him. So in a few episodes ago, I showed you guys this new EBL 1000 power station I got. Well, they actually reached out to us and sent us this one to have fun with, Phil. Are you ready to see what it does? Do you actually know what this does?
Not any idea.
So this is like a generator, but without gas.
Wow.
It makes power with a battery. So in there is a battery that you can charge up using your camper or your AC plug, your truck, your DC plug, or we can plug these two solar panels into it and it'll charge the battery up that way.
Wow, that's fantastic.
It's actually really cool, and I'm glad they reached out to us and sent us this. So I was gonna buy one of these anyways, Phil, but people kept reaching out to me and they wanted to offer me the baby ones.
Okay.
So I had several companies say, hey, we'd like to give you the 300, the 500 watt one. And every time I'd respond with, I'd love to have one. Can I pay the difference and get the next size up?
Yeah.
They always said no. So I was getting ready to go buy one of these, and they just so happened to reach out. Like the day I was about to, I was in the cart. I was about to hit buy now.
Wow.
They reached out to me and offered me the 1000 watt one, and I went ahead and said yes. I've been looking for one of these. So we're gonna actually read the instructions, and we're gonna play with this thing and the solar panels, and we're gonna see what this thing can do. I've read some of the instructions. Let's talk about what it can and can't do. So this thing right here is a 1000 watt solar generator. They call it a solar generator because it can be charged by the sun, the power of the sun, to recharge this battery. Really, it's just a battery station that converts power into AC or DC. So you can actually charge it with a DC cord, an AC cord, or the sun. It also has a DC output, so we can have an output with a cigarette lighter or a DC connector. We have 3 USBs and 1 USB-C outputs. That's for your phone and your devices, Phil.
I didn't know what it was.
Also, up here on top, you can put your phone right there. It'll charge it that way too.
Cool.
And we have 2 AC outputs. So we're gonna dig through this box right here and get these solar panels set up and see how it looks when it's charging. So the first step I found is they offer a bunch of ways to use this thing. So the solar panels have these bags right here where the cords come out of, and it has all these extensions. So this is one of those extensions to that kind of DC plug. They have this one that plugs into the solar panel and hooks in to this PV right here. They also have this one that plugs into the actual DC outlet. And then, if that's not enough, they have all these guys. You can make whatever you got going on work. I have no idea what all this does, but I guess we're gonna figure it out together. Also, here's the AC adapter and the DC for your cigarette lighter in your car to charge it.
That pretty well got you covered, huh?
Now, if you can't figure out how to charge this, you got the wrong stuff going on. So we're using the power of the sun right now. I know the sun keeps moving. It was perfect when we set it up. But right now, we're getting 20 watts. Wow. Well, we have 200 watt generators, so we have a potential of 200 watts we could be charging, and we're only getting 20. Which means we gotta go find some more sun. We have both of them in the sun now, and it's doing 125 watts.
Wow.
Still gonna take a while. The instruction manual says that it's based on sun. They don't even give a time it takes to charge these with the sun. It's just based on the conditions. It's obviously gonna be slower than the camper or the truck, but it's probably about 10 or 12 hours because the camper and the truck take 8 or 9. I'm actually gonna read y'all the actual numbers here in a minute. But this is cool because let's say that was dead and that doesn't work. Or you're out somewhere where you don't have power.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to have the solar panels to be able to charge your little battery power so you can run things and not eat up the power that you're trying to save in that camper or in that truck.
Gives you another leg.
It does, it gives you another option. It's still charging, but we're over here reading the instruction manual. Now it says when you're plugged into AC, which is house power, or the camper, it will charge from fully empty to fully charged in 7 to 8 hours.
Okay.
So it takes probably 8 hours to charge the whole thing. Now it says for your car charger, it says it'll take 9 to 11 hours.
Oh.
And then for the solar charging, it says it just takes as long as it takes. So obviously it's gonna be less than those, but we don't have enough time to figure out how long it's gonna take. We're gonna let it run for a while and see how much it's come up because it's at 50% right now.
Okay.
And maybe we'll do some math and guesstimate how long it might take, but obviously that's gonna be the slowest way to charge this battery. It has a little table in here, boop, of all the things that this thing can and can't do when it's fully charged. It says if it's fully powered, it'll recharge my laptop around 20 times.
Wow.
It says it'll run a 32-inch TV for 14 hours.
Impressive.
It'll run a CPAP machine for 56 hours.
Ooh.
It'll run a GoPro, 143 recharges. It's actually kind of impressive because these things, they eat batteries.
They eat them.
It says it'll run a floodlight, 4 watts for 212 hours. It'll run a mini fridge, 40 watts for around 21 hours.
Wow.
You can recharge a drone. It says 90 watt hours. I don't know how big that battery. I don't have a drone, so I don't know the batteries. But it says about 9.5 recharges of a drone. It says a smartphone. It'll recharge our phones 84 times.
Wow.
It also says that this thing can run the big stuff. That's why I wanted the 1,000 watt one. It says it can run our barbecue pits. It can run a microwave. It can run a hair dryer.
A hair dryer?
It can run the big ticket items. And that's why I wanted this one, because there's only one way to find out if it'll run them, right?
Right.
We're gonna find out.
We're gonna demonstrate.
We're gonna see what this thing, that guy right there, can and can't do, because I'm curious. I know why I wanted it, and I'll show you guys why we wanted it as we do the testing, because there's a few things that we wanted to use to make our life a little easier, but I'm actually curious at what else it can do besides what I thought I wanted it to do. The first test is pretty big. Charging my cell phone.
All right.
Also, it has this cool little light right here. So now we can see in the dark. We're trying to run things.
That'll help me.
So, before we get started testing, if you guys are interested in giving one of these a try, want to save some money on this guy or those 2 solar panels over there, check the link in the description below. They have a pretty good coupon running right now, and you can save yourself a good amount of money. Where do we start on the testing?
Where do we start?
I mean, besides the cell phone, I think we should slowly get more and more.
Just increase it?
Yes.
Okay.
What about, you want to make some coffee?
That's what I was thinking about. Yeah, will it make coffee?
Well, let's make some coffee. Ready for some coffee?
I am ready.
Now, assuming our RV is broken and there's no power,
Okay.
we have this guy right here. So you just plug your coffee maker in, you turn the AC output on. All right. Now we come over here. Our coffee maker is on. Let's brew one.
And we don't.
Oh, and the fan's coming on, so it must be working.
And we don't have an external power nowhere except
No,
for the solar.
no, we're making coffee right now off a battery.
Huh.
And it says, look, it tells you it's using 917 watts, 16 watts. Oh, so it's actually counting down. We started at 50% capacity.
Right.
We haven't made coffee yet. It's already down to 47. So it'll be interesting to see how much it actually draws, because I know a coffee maker is a pretty big draw. It says we have 910 watts left, 45% battery. We're just now getting some of this. This experiment might take a little longer for it to recharge all the time. So I said we were gonna start off easy. I believe the coffee maker may not have been step one. I think we went straight to a high demand thing, because this thing for a 12 cup, also it's a Ninja, so it's probably a little too fancy for being out here. But it went from 50% to 15% battery capacity just for one thing of coffee.
But it's going to be some good coffee.
I'm sure you could get a less, energy demanding coffee maker. It'd work better. How about you fill this Paving New Paths cup up with some coffee, Phil, and enjoy you a cup.
All right, now we're talking.
After our little coffee test, we're gonna go ahead and charge this thing back up. We're gonna use the house power from the RV. So we have an AC adapter that goes to DC. And surprisingly, it's interesting. The solar panels are putting out about 125 watts. The 120 to DC input to charge is 153 watts. So that's, Phil, it's crazy. You're actually not charging much slower by going through solar as far as wattage wise. It's only like 25, 30 watt difference.
Yeah.
So I bet, because this is like 7 to 8 hours full capacity, I bet it's not over 10 or 11 for the solar.
That's not bad.
Which I expected that to be a lot higher number. Now we'll see how long it takes. We're gonna charge this thing back up, and probably not to full because we're gonna keep testing it. But overnight, we will make sure tomorrow's test start with a full battery. Also, I just read it has pass-through charging. You know what that means, Phil?
No idea.
It means I can actually run this thing while it's charging, except for the AC outlets.
Huh.
So that means I can have this thing charging right now, and I can use my DC stuff. So if I want to run my Iceco, right now I could. Or if I want to charge phones or anything that's USB or Type-C, I can run that. But you can't run any AC outlets while charging. I want you to know, Phil and Phil's chair here, and y'all get used to it, because this might be the last time y'all see Phil in his chair until Thanksgiving. We're not going to see you in this chair until, I mean, it's going to be several months. They're going to miss you in the chair, Phil. Maybe we make a whole video about Phil and his chair. So we're currently charging right now, and in just this short amount of time, we've already gone from 15 to 20%. You You can see we have an input of 150 watts charging the battery, and we actually have our USB charging on our output, and we're using 10 watts to charge the GoPro cameras.
No.
I just looked at the coffee maker. It's an 1100 watt coffee maker.
Oh.
It's literally 100 more watts than the capacity of that battery. So our first test, which I thought was gonna be nice and casual, was super extreme. So no wonder it used like, what, 35% of battery
At least.
to burn 1 pot of coffee. So anyway, sorry, a little out of order. We're gonna go to some other level that's lower than this and work our way back up to this, hopefully. Now I'll start reading the back of the appliances before I press the go button, because I actually thought coffee was not gonna be a big deal. I forgot how much the heating element is gonna draw power.
Yeah.
So anyway, we're waiting on that guy to fully recharge. He's up to 22%. It's definitely slowed down, but we're dual charging a battery, charging other batteries. I'm about to show you guys one of the main reasons I wanted this power station. So we're in the truck right now and it's not done charging, but we have it hooked up to the cigarette lighter, and the DC input is 103 volts compared to 125 for the solar and 156 for the AC power. So we're gonna run up to the store, and it'll make more sense when I get there why we're going to the store, but it involves that backpack and these videos you guys are watching. Welcome to the store. So you're probably wondering, why would that guy right there be beneficial to me because of YouTube? Well, because this guy right here, this is our computer. It apparently eats a lot of juice. Now it's funny because this thing right here, our inverter in our truck, says it's 400 watt max. Right now it's plugged in, my computer is running on it, and it says only drawing 40 watts. So I don't know why the inverter in my truck will not charge this, but the problem is, the reason I'm in town is we have a mobile hotspot, but it doesn't always work at the RV parks. So I usually spend a lot of time driving around town, finding the best signal, and then I set up my mobile hotspot, I start uploading the video, and then usually I hope I don't run out of battery. Now when I was in Florida, there was times it was taking right at an hour to an hour and a half to load some of these YouTube videos. This computer right here apparently only has about a 57-minute battery life. So this thing right here is gonna solve all my problems for that, because now I can basically have unlimited battery to upload a video no matter how long it takes. Now, it's not always that bad. Now, when I was out in Wyoming and Montana and those really remote places, yes, sometimes it would take up to 2 hours to load a video. But for the most part, you can do a video with a good internet service in about 12-15 minutes. Now, we hardly ever have good enough service at the RV park Wi-Fi. That's why we carry on Wi-Fi hotspot. Also, sometimes I'll use my phone service to have a mobile hotspot to upload as well. So we know it runs the computer, so it solved one of my problems. The second reason I wanted this power station is because this guy right here. We had this refrigerator freezer cooler that runs off of 12 volt or 120, but because I told you the inverter has a hard time running just the computer inside and we have no outlet back here, I have no way of running this when the truck's running. So my other idea was to have this back here next to this guy powering this whenever we need it. I'm gonna hook this thing up and see how it runs. It has a DC input and an AC input, so I'm actually gonna try both to see what the power draw difference is. So we have everything hooked up and we're running off the DC power, and it's 72 degrees in there. And the draw right now, I told it to go down to 32, is 74 watts. Now I'm gonna switch over to the AC side and see if it's a different draw. We have it back on AC power now. It's 70 degrees inside there. We've told it to go to 32. And the wattage is 81. So it actually draws more power on the AC side than the DC side. So what we're gonna do is, we're gonna close this guy right here, and we're gonna see how long it takes to get down to 32 degrees. Right now we're on 36% battery, drawing 82 watts, and it's currently 70 degrees. So I'm gonna record this and let you know how long it took and how much of the battery we used to get there. All right, we're gonna interrupt this video so that you guys can hear me say it on camera. You see what those things are? See them all around here? Those are the famous love bugs from the South. And the reason I'm telling you about this is because they think my camper and my truck right now are like the mothership, and they're all over the place. Well, you know what that means. Coming soon to a YouTube video near you, I will be having to watch this guy and this guy, because when we pull out of here in a few days, I'm going to drive through these guys getting up to Tennessee, which means the whole front of that thing will be in real bad shape, and the whole front of my truck will probably be real bad too. So I'm just telling you now, there's another video coming up where I have to clean the front of the camper and the front of the truck. All right, guys, we made it to 32 degrees, and it took us just around an hour. And we've dropped from 36% to 32%, and we're drawing 61 watts to maintain. So it's actually drawing a less load to maintain the temperature once it got there. Now, by that math, this could last us almost 25 hours, maintaining 32 degrees, so that's cooler. That's actually way longer than we needed. So this thing right now has solved my first problem, which is running my computer when I'm in my truck doing things for YouTube. Also, running this Iceco when we're on adventures in the back of the truck, since we don't have a plug in the back. So just so y'all know, this thing is a 55 watt input power for the compressor. So it's actually not a lot of draw, but that's surprising because this is something we really want to use, and now that allows us to use it more. So for tonight's dinner, I originally planned to use our new solar generator, our battery pack, to cook our chicken wings, these guys right here, using our electric pit boss pellet grill. I've already checked it, it's only 220 watts, so it should do the job. But since our coffee pot experiment from the beginning drew it down so low, we only have like 32% left right now. So I'm gonna wait till tomorrow night when it's fully charged, and we're gonna cook our entire meal using this pit boss pellet grill. So we're at Phil and Lolo's camper. I can't show you them because they don't want to participate in the videoing right now, but we're charging Lolo's bike, and it is putting out the same wattage as the Iceco. So that says this thing will be able to charge her bike for almost 25 hours. Lolo, how long does it take to charge this bike normally? 3 or 4 hours?
Yes.
So she could charge this bike probably whatever 3 or 4 times 25 is, or divided by. Anyway, this thing right here will charge this bike multiple times without recharging that thing right there. Even though Phil and Lolo won't be on camera, they keep providing things that we can test. So here is her toaster. We have it set, let's set it to the max, all the way to level 7. Let's see what it does. Oh yeah, it's drawing some power. It's doing 751 watts. So this is almost as bad as the coffee machine. So we'll see how long it takes to toast until it pops up. Toast takes roughly 5% on the max setting. Let's see what this thing, if it tells you what it is. This thing right here is a 900 watt toaster, so it's a big draw. So if you're a big breakfast eater and you have coffee and toast, you just ate up like 41% of your battery, so you better start charging. Next up at Lolo's testing facility, this super secret table right here, we have the box fan, like mother, like daughter. So let's see what it takes. All right, so that's off. It only drew like 58 watts, so just like the Iceco and the bike charger, y'all could run this box fan for 25 hours on this battery. You hear that? We live in a world where these girls think box fans are more important than so many things in the world.
Let's run it now.
Let's run it now. You hear her? We're outside. She wants that box fan. Lolo's hair dryer, and this is the equalizer. This is 1875 watts. I'm sure it's gonna eat power big time. Watch this. On high, oh yeah, on high mode, it instantly went to safe mode and killed the power. So it can't even run the hair dryer on high mode. Let's turn it off. All right, so our AC's on. Let's go to low mode this time. Nope, even low mode. So this thing right here cannot handle that. But we knew that because this is only 1,000 watts. This is 1875, so it will not run a hair dryer. So if you're in the woods and you lose power, you just have to have wet hair. So we have our first customer with the battery powered fan outdoors. Oh baby Caden, having the good life. He's sitting outside enjoying the breeze, even if it is man-made. You're gonna be just like your mama. That box fan is gonna follow you around forever. So you hear her laughing? That's gonna conclude our testing for today. We're gonna enjoy the rest of the night. I'm gonna let it charge overnight and have a full 100% charge, and we'll resume our testing in the morning, and we'll try to see what that thing can and cannot run. So far, it's ran everything we've tried except for the hair dryer. We have a few more things in mind that we want to see if it'll do it. We charged our battery and it's 100% overnight, and today we're gonna start off with drying our clothes. I'm just joking. There's no way I'd run that. And even if I wanted to, I couldn't get to the cord anyway. Have y'all seen where they put that? So we have Alicia today. She's gonna help out. She has some suggestions on what she wants us to see it'll run. Starting with baby Caden's king bed.
Yes, so we're gonna see if it'll work, because maybe the generator goes out and baby boy still needs to sleep in luxury.
Plugged in and it's on, so turn it on and make it do snoo stuff.
Moment of truth. So lots of people have asked how this thing works. So there's a little button over here. I just have it on manual mode right now. Oh wait, it's resetting. It's gonna take a little bit.
Of course it is.
Be right back.
All right, it's done resetting.
Here we go.
There
Can
it
you
goes.
hear? Can you hear the sound? So that's working. Let's see if it works on the next level.
Do the rodeo mode. Go straight to extreme.
No, this isn't extreme. This one is if baby's just barely crying, it'll soothe him back to sleep with a little rock, and then if baby goes a little crazier, you get the vacuum cleaner sound.
Is
And
there
a little
another mode?
bit faster. Well, that's the only modes I have set for manual mode.
So this is the
There's
most extreme.
like 7 modes, but
It's pulling 4 watts. So you could
That's
probably
it?
run this. The Iceco pulled 80 watts and could run for 25 hours.
So
this could run for infinity, apparently.
no, so we could both sleep good. I can run my box fan while it's running this, and
You
we
could.
can both get our sleep.
You could.
Now we're gonna have to figure out the AC though.
All right, next up. This is Alicia's idea. So let's say we have no power at the campground. The generator won't run because we forgot to put gas in it. But before we fix all those problems, it's getting humid in here, and we need to run this dehumidifier.
And it is actually getting humid in here, and we do need to run this thing.
So let's see it go.
All right.
Let's see how bad it is. We're gonna show these people how humid it is in here.
Oh, it's terrible.
It's 66%
Well, I've been
humidity.
running the dryer too.
Oh, it has a huge draw. It's doing 408 watts. That's like a third less than the toaster and half as much as the coffee maker.
Really?
So this thing right here would eat power.
Oh my goodness.
We might need to choose a different appliance if we're using this.
It better get the humidity
Maybe
out fast.
maybe we fix the power before we run the humidifier.
Okay, so I have a question. It's on like low now.
Oh, it would go higher.
If we put it on high,
Yeah, put
it
it on high.
draws more?
Yep. I think it's fan. There it goes. It switched over.
Yeah.
It drew, I mean, almost the same. It's not really, the startup is huge, but then it averages it out about the same.
Okay, and then let's just say there's no electricity, but Mama needs to curl her hair.
Oh,
Are
you
we
want
gonna
to
be
you want to
able-
see if you can curl your hair?
Are we going to be able to do that?
So I feel like it's really funny that we're doing all these things when there's no electricity. Let's assume we really need to comb our hair before the people show up to help us fix our
We
problems.
need to curl our hair.
Yeah, that's right.
That's what
We already know we
that
can't
was
use the
for.
hair dryer because it turns it off immediately.
Right.
Let me see this right here. Let's do some boy stuff. Oh, you can't hardly read in there. Oh, it's
Oh, yeah.
35 watts. Oh, this thing's gonna work.
That's all. It is?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Turn it on.
There we go. We got a blue light. That means it's working.
It's pulling a lot though. It's pulling 300 watts.
Yeah, because it's
So-
got to heat it.
Well, I bet once it's hot, it'll drop off and be like almost minimal.
Well, it'll take just a couple more seconds to get hot. It's like 30 seconds and it'll be ready. Oh, this thing's kind of dirty.
Oh, it's dropping already.
Is it?
So yeah, you could do
Yeah.
this, but I don't know if I would.
No?
No.
Hey, girls gotta look good.
No, but well, you know you can't hair dry. At least you can try something.
Right?
You know, to deal with this humidity you can't get rid of. Because you done ran your power down all the
The
way.
humidity is gonna kill my curl though.
So you have to choose. Do you let baby sleep, or do you turn the humidifier on, or do you curl your hair?
Let baby sleep.
Or do we do all three until we run out of
Always.
power? For our next test with the battery bank, so we're at 100% right now. We're gonna attempt to cook our dinner tonight on this Pit Boss pellet grill. It's rated at 220 watts, so we'll see what it pulls, if it's even possible. We're gonna try to cook on it until at least that dies, and if it does, we got power right there. But we're gonna see how good it does. So we're just gonna turn it on and see what happens. The spike actually wasn't that bad. The initial spike, was less than a dehumidifier. It's only 199. We'll see what it gets like when it gets up. Oh, it's already dropping. When it gets to the heat, I bet, because the first 5 minutes of a pellet grill is the worst. Once it gets the heating element going, it calms down. It's just a fan. So we'll see what the draw is once we get up to temperature. So it in fact is working, but it's taking twice as long. Like normally when you set your temperature to start cooking, it's about 15 minutes and it's at temperature. It's taken almost 30 minutes to get to this point, but I will say some things I've noticed. The initial startup, it'll pull about 200 watts, and once it gets the fire going, right now you see it's running the fan in there and the auger, it'll pull about 34 watts. Whenever it's not running the auger, it actually pulls 0. Well, it's probably not enough to measure. And we've only used 4% to get the grill started. But now that it's maintaining, it's not using any power at all. So more than likely, you could probably cook a brisket on this thing in probably at least 10-12 hours. So we're gonna get our meat and get it on there and get it started, and we'll see if it can finish the job. So we're 2 hours in, and look at this meat. So, interesting fact, my battery pack is actually in here because it started raining. But we've only dropped 5% for the whole cook. So it took 5% to heat it up, and it's basically stayed the same for 2 hours. So that tells me right there, you could probably cook
on this guy right here as long as you want it to, because once it gets temperature, it does a great job of maintaining it. Now, probably not gonna be able to see anything by the time it gets done, and that's because it's getting dark outside. So tomorrow I'll let you know how long it took and the battery percentage, but it's safe to say this thing could run a pit boss no problem. Good morning. So last night we finished up cooking and it actually dropped to about 90%. So about 5.5 hours of cooking with that guy, and it dropped 10% of use. So it took about 5% to get it heated up and about 5% for 5 hours of cooking. So you could really, for sure, cook a brisket on that thing for about 10 or 12 hours and you have plenty of battery. Now, let's see if this thing will do what the thumbnail says it'll do. Will that thing even let anything in this camper run if I plug it in? We got adapters, so we're gonna hook it up to a 15 amp right here, to our 15 to 15 amp adapter on the camper, and we'll just see if anything will even turn on, or if the surge protector will even let it into the power. I've already turned everything off in the camper. All the ACs are off. There's nothing plugged in, nothing running, and the refrigerator's been pushed over to propane. So hopefully we'll just see if we can actually get power into the coach first, and then we'll see what we can run. So we have our 50 to 15 amp adapter, we have our extension cord, and we have our battery plugged in. It's drawing 8 watts, so now we just wait to see if the surge protector will let the power into the RV. Only time will tell. Just a few more minutes and the surge protector should go off. We know it's doing something because it is drawing some power. So maybe we'll be able to see if anything will run inside this RV going through the right channels. The battery is not going to run the camper.
Aww.
I think it would. The surge protector wouldn't let it turn on.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh
So
my
like
gosh.
it was, I don't think it was putting out enough power because it doesn't send power until you ask for it, and I think the surge protector doesn't know what to do because it thinks there's no power hooked up.
Oh my gosh.
So we're gonna go over there to your parents' camper that has no surge protector,
Yeah.
and see if it'll run it.
Is it gonna break anything?
Well, no, because we already know with the hairdryer it turns it off if it doesn't
it'll
like
just
it.
turn it off. Okay.
So I want to see
no
if I can at
damage.
least turn something on in a camper through the
Right.
plugs.
And they only have one AC, right?
Yes, and I bet we can run one. Well, it's an old school one, so it probably takes like a Caterpillar motor to start up. But we'll try.
We can try.
Hey, what are you doing? What's wrong?
Oh my.
It's not gonna be loud. I hope not. So anyway, we have the battery over here. We have Phil at his camper, which is a 30 amp. We're gonna plug it up. Go ahead right there, Phil.
All right.
And then we're gonna see if anything will, oh, it's pulling power, 645. All right, Lolo, let's turn the AC on.
Woo, we got power.
We're running an AC off the battery. Isn't that crazy?
Unbelievable. Who needs a $20,000 solar setup?
So it's running the AC in their camper, and that's only pulling 384 watts. Man, do you know that pulls less power than our dehumidifier, the toaster, and the blow dryer?
Hair dryer.
It's still running. 384, that's gonna have a drain, but right now it still shows 100%. We're gonna let it run for a while and see how long it might run this camper. We're in Phil and Lolo's camper. The AC is running. We're gonna try to run, this is probably a terrible idea. We're gonna try to run the microwave. Let's go with, oh, it's running the microwave! All right, it was running the microwave. I was going to go see how much it was drawing and it killed everything. So it would not run a microwave and an AC, but it's running an AC. So right now we have this guy hooked up, running Phil and Lolo's camper, which is only a 30 amp, but we have the AC running, the refrigerator running, and an ice maker running. And it's pulling, right now it's pulling about 500 watts. It's only dropped 1%. It's been about 10 minutes. So that thing's pretty impressive. It will run an RV, of course, without a surge protector. It wouldn't run ours because it doesn't send power until you ask for it. So the surge protector had no idea there was even power coming to the coach. Like when I plug this thing in, until I turn something on inside, this thing is putting out no output. So I think that's why it didn't work on our camper. But that's pretty impressive. Actually, I was 50-50 on whether it would run a camper. So this thing right here is pretty amazing. It did a lot of things I wanted to do, Some things it can't do, but overall, it's pretty awesome. Now, if you guys want to save yourself some money and get one of these guys to play with yourself, check the link in the description below. They have a pretty good sale going on right now. Anyway, guys, thanks for hanging out with us. Thanks for this little science experiment we had together, and thanks for watching. See you guys next time.